Because that's really what it is. Photographs and stuff come through the feed.
Right.
And I was like, what? Like, because she had like
because she did put it out
stuck
there.
under the bed, like the booty's up in the air with her head stuck under the bed.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh.
What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest stars walked away from everything to expose the twisted games being played behind closed doors? Terrence Howard, an actor many of us know and love, has just lifted the curtain on the ugliest secrets the entertainment industry has kept hidden for years. And in doing so, he's not only revealing the shocking truth about Hollywood, but also about one of the most powerful men in the game, Diddy. This is the story of how one man's refusal to play by Hollywood's rules led to a public scandal. And what happened when Terrence took a stand against the dark underbelly of the industry? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear is about to change everything you thought you knew about the entertainment world.
Exposing.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers coming to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. When you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being
Terrence.
Protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Come on. Because early on you was accusing me of being.
It all started innocently enough. Terrence Howard, a household name in Hollywood, gets an invitation from Diddy, an invite to one of his legendary parties. But this wasn't just any invitation. It came with a promise of something more. Come, help me with some acting, Diddy allegedly said, presenting Terrence with an offer that seemed professional at first glance. But when Terrence arrived at Diddy's mansion, things took a dark and unexpected turn. What was supposed to be a work-related meeting turned into an uncomfortable, almost surreal experience. Diddy's actions were anything but professional. Terrence was left questioning his motives. Was Diddy really looking for help with his acting, or was there something more sinister behind this invitation? It was clear from the moment Terrence stepped into that room that there were hidden layers to this invitation. The energy shifted as soon as he arrived. Terrence, a man known for his integrity, found himself trapped in a situation that didn't sit right with him.
About how he went to Diddy house with mates,
Yeah.
and he fought the dildo in the sink.
I think that was crazy. I think that was out of, and then Mace said that was Puffs. I think he said Mace said that was Puffs, but Mace was in the bathroom with it. I don't know what that was all about, man, but that was real weird to me. That was crazy.
Crazy, man. But before we get off of that, right, I remember you told me a while ago that, Mace, he used to live with Diddy, and he know a lot of stuff about Diddy that a lot of people don't know.
Man, it's a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bruh? Can you really imagine?
What you mean by Usher then?
Usher used to stay with Diddy too, when he was younger. And this was years ago. So the locks ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. This the kind of, man, listen here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But I want to talk about this lawsuit by Gunn, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. It's a part in this lawsuit where she alleges that she was at a dinner with Neo, Usher, and Jimmy Iovine. And Diddy, he punched Cassie in the stomach and no one did anything. How you feel about that?
They were part of the dinner and they watched Cassie get abused in front of, Puffy abused Cassie in front of them. And neither one of those men, and they probably security was around too, did nothing to stop what he had did to Cassie. Now that's just crazy right there, bro. That is just crazy. Usher probably got a daughter. Neo probably got kids, I don't know. Jimmy Iovine, you know, he take about 15, 20 scoops of sugar in his coffee. So, all those cats there, supposed to be men, watched that lady get abused right there in public, and they did nothing, brother. They did nothing. That goes to show you the power that he had mentally over them. Here go a woman witnesses, and this witnessing it, and said, they said nothing. Yo, man, stop, don't do that. Yo, not here, bro. Easy, nothing. Don't do nothing, say something. She said they didn't do anything and they didn't say nothing. That's the bad thing about it. If you're not gonna do nothing, open your damn mouth and say something. And that's a lot wrong with our people right now. They don't even want you to say nothing.
As the night went on, things only got stranger. Diddy reportedly began making suggestive comments, and his behavior became increasingly uncomfortable. Terrence, however, wasn't having any of it. He knew something was off, and he wasn't going to let it slide. The actor who had risen to fame by playing strong, complex characters was now facing an entirely different kind of challenge, standing firm against Hollywood's twisted games. Terrence refused to play along, he didn't bow to the pressure, and he didn't back down. Instead, he made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate this kind of behavior, but his refusal came with consequences. Hollywood, as it turns out, doesn't like it when its stars refuse to play by its rules. This wasn't the first time Hollywood had tried to manipulate him. Terrence had faced similar situations before, where he was pushed to compromise his values for the sake of his career. But this time, he refused to back down, and it cost him.
No.
All right, 16.
No,
16.
slow down. Let's slow down, Jess.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
Another video.
I'm begging you, Rob.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Justin, you...
You know, Diddy called his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're
He
out.
got me a Lamborghini. And
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Apparently not. Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. What music are you listening to?
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer Justin Bieber.
I have like little girl fans. I can't go.
My parents never gave me the sex talk. Okay. So why don't you give me the sex talk? I feel uncomfortable right now. Oh. Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
Freddie P claims Diddy did it to his own child.
It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know. Like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets. He got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, I mean, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother no gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and
talking about
Puffy.
Quincy, right?
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
I'll be sure, son.
All I'm gonna say is, who infatuated with another man's son that, like that? Like you guess that seemed like grooming to me. I got, oh, that's his daughter's brothers. Get the fuck out of here.
So not even family is sacred for Diddy.
As the night progressed, the true nature of Diddy's parties became more and more apparent. What was supposed to be a professional gathering was nothing short of bizarre. Terrence wasn't the only one who had noticed the strange, uncomfortable atmosphere. Other guests had been subjected to similar experiences behind the velvet ropes. Diddy's parties were infamous for their wild, unpredictable nature. What happened in those rooms was never meant for the public eye. But what Terrence was now realizing was that it wasn't just a party, it was a setup, a test of who would play along and who wouldn't. And for Terrence Howard, there was no playing along. It wasn't just about the acting, it was about the power. And in Diddy's world, those who refused to play the game were quickly ostracized. Terrence had stood up for his integrity, but now the Hollywood machine was beginning to turn its back on him.
Might play out.
Yeah, my mom's is gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. We call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
My baby.
Mom, freshly dipped though.
What? What you trying to do? Show my shoes?
I was trying to show you the shoes. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be, especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that, cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom do know how to have a good time. Cause she ain't sitting in the house playing. They outside moving and shaking, baby.
Got that right.
She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog, you know, I want to live life. Be out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her.
Fall far from the tree, man. You got to realize that. You know, he didn't get all this from his daddy because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You got to realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also ladies of the night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling. So the apple don't fall far from the tree. Yeah. So now, you got to understand this, and looking at her and some of the stuff that he was saying, and their relationship has changed since I knew them, since I was around them. You understand? This man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over and put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bruh. He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother action like that in a sexual way? And then, you know, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that. That's them, that's their whole thing, man. But that was a little kind of weird for me. And then his mother wore the same white fingernail polish that Cassie described that he liked to see her and other models in when she was describing her lawsuit. And what's crazy to me is that, man, it seemed like him and his mother had this, I don't want to get too deep, man, this Oedipus complex thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people going to say, yo, Oedipus complex. Well, let me just tell you a brief story so you'll know. Oedipus it may have been Greek mythology, or it was probably Greek mythology or something like that, but it's a story about a young man that was told that he was going to kill his father and marry his mother. So on the way, this young man had grown up, you know, he didn't know that he was an orphan and then was adopted by a family. He thought the family he was with was his mother and father, but it wasn't. So on the way to this town, he gets into an argument with this other man and he kills him. He kills that man. Then he goes into that town. A lady is weeping about her husband, being told that her husband was dead, and he ended up marrying that lady, which was his mother. So Sigmund Freud came up with this thing about this Oedipus complex, about a sexual relationship, whether it's physical or mental, with a mother and a son. So I'm looking at his mother and him on the couch, and both of them are getting IVs after one of the Diddy parties. Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because I wasn't there and I didn't know, but they showed them both getting IVs on the couch. So my whole thing about this thing is that I'm not saying that she was ever at a Freakoff, she was ever at that type of party, but you can't tell me Miss Janice Combs, who was always at the regular parties, didn't know nothing about the Freakoff parties. This is the same dude, bruh, that used to disrespect his mother. So I seen the love now that they have for each other only on film and camera, you know, or on the YouTube or Instagram or wherever they were showing it and stuff like that. But this the same guy that Kirk Burroughs once told me he slapped his mother. And I told everybody, had I known he slapped his mother after I told Kirk Burroughs, Kirk told me after I straightened his ass out for cussing his mama out. His mother came in the limousine and he was on the phone and she said, yo, why don't you tell these people like that? And he just cussed her clean out like on some, didn't I tell you to stay out my motherfucking business? And I was like, yo, I was shocked. She didn't say nothing. I said to him, I said, yo, boy, let me tell you something. If you ever cuss your mama again, I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You ain't gonna bring nothing but bad luck to us treating your mama like that. So I guess he ain't treating his mama like that no more. But I don't have no qualms in her defending her son.
In December 2022, something unexpected happened. Terrence Howard announced his retirement from acting. On the surface, it seemed like a typical career decision, a man ready to step away from the spotlight. But those who knew him best understood that his decision wasn't driven by the usual reasons. It wasn't because he was tired or had no more roles to play. No, it was because Hollywood had pushed him out. The truth was, Terrence wasn't retiring because of his career slump. He was retiring because Hollywood had made it clear they weren't interested in working with him unless he played by their rules. And when Terrence refused to compromise his values, they began sidelining him, labeling him difficult and hard to work with. But as he walked away from Hollywood, the real reasons behind his exit remained a closely guarded secret. That is, until now, Terrence's return to the public. I came with a vengeance. No longer the actor willing to stay silent. He was ready to expose the industry's darkest secrets. His story was no longer about fame or fortune, it was about standing up against the corruption that had cost him so much.
Because his mom was making moves on him.
Did you see the IG live that Puffy and his mom did? And Puffy, he was shouting out Mason, showing him love for, you know, him being a part of the No Way Out album. And, you know, his mom, she cut it in and, you know, I guess she didn't like him shouting out Mace and she made a comment telling Mace stop messing with her son or whatever.
I guess Mama wasn't feeling Mace. And Mace is a celebrity. And by him having a platform to say something about her son, you know, she would say that. You understand? I've said more about Mace, I've said more about Diddy than Mace have. But maybe because I'm not a celebrity, I don't have a platform, and he didn't say my name, she didn't say anything about, and you too, Gene Deal. And maybe because she might still find me sexy. She says she looking.
What you mean by that? His mom was trying to talk to you back then?
I don't wanna. What? What? That's how we fell out, bruh. That's how we fell out. You don't know? I thought you watched the Gene Deal show, Art.
Man. Tell me about that. Y'all ain't know that.
Oh my God. Yo, one day, Puff and Justin was in the office, right? And sometimes I gotta watch Justin, but since the grandma up there, you know, she watching Justin sometimes, I still gotta keep my eye on Puff. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who security gonna let up sometimes, and this, that, and the third. So it used to like she used to have a restaurant, and she used to bring food up to the office and give it to people, right? So this one particular time, you know, she used to always like do innuendos to me. Gene, why you don't never Gene, why you don't never, Gene, why you don't like that? But I never even, you know, paid her any attention because it's always Miss Combs. It ain't Mama Combs, it ain't Janice, it's Miss Combs. You understand? I gave her that respect. But she used to always throw in the windows, and you know when somebody find you somewhat attractive. And then because I used to get in Puff ass, because Puff used to be disrespectful around his mother. You understand? I'm glad they got a better relationship and they got a better understanding, because she know I said it before. You understand? When he cursed out, we was getting in a limousine. This when the office was on 19th Street and 5th Avenue. He said, didn't I tell you to stay out of my motherfucking business? He was talking to his mother. And I said, boy, let me tell you something. If I ever hear you cuss your mother again, I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You ain't gonna bring nothing but bad luck to us. Don't you ever cuss your mother again, nigga.
Like, what is even going on here? How was all out what was going on?
Gee, but I told her to stay out of my business. Nigga, you wouldn't have no business if it wasn't for her. I'm not playing with you, man. Now you need to apologize to her. She slammed the door because she was gonna get a limo with us at this time. She just left and went the other way. Now, we was in the office one time. This one time, Justin heard, she brought some food up. And she like, Gene, I need you to go downstairs and get this food out the truck or the van or whatever she had on down there. I need to get out there. I said, and all these people's in the office. It's 1,000 interns that could have did that shit. But I know she just wanted to show that she had power over me, and I would never give her no power over me. You understand? Because she used to always ask me to do shit. I know what, she probably really wanted me to do, but I wasn't feeling that. So now, I'm sitting there like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not here for that. So she got all riled up. Everybody do what I tell them to do except you. Who do you think you are? Stuff like that. I said, I'm here for Puff. Anything happen to him while I go down there getting your food, it's a situation. Puff overheard the thing. And Puff came out and said, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Why you always messing with Gene? Leave Gene alone. This came out his own mouth in his office. And there's people who was there who witnessed the shit. And from that point on, Paul started getting this other dude from my block, around our block, named Stretch, because he was NYPD, to take my days. And I just said to myself, man, I ain't fucking with that no more. And that's how we fell out. That's how it ended. That's how it ended.
So she was trying to get at you on the low. She was trying to come on to you. That's why she kept messing with you. But you wasn't going for it. You wasn't checking for it like that. You wasn't interested.
Not at all. No, I wasn't gonna knock the dust off that, bro. Not me.
You didn't find her attractive?
No, not at all.
When Terrence Howard started speaking out, the floodgates opened. He didn't hold back, revealing shocking allegations about Diddy's life behind closed doors. The so-called freak-offs, the wild parties, the manipulative behavior, it all came to light. But the most shocking part wasn't just the behavior of Diddy. It was the involvement of Young Miami, who, according to sources close to the situation, was more deeply involved in these dark events than anyone had realized. What had seemed like just another Hollywood rumor now looked like a carefully constructed web of power, manipulation, and control. Terrence Howard didn't just stop there. He claimed that he wasn't the only one Diddy had tried to manipulate. He wasn't the only one who had been invited into those dark, twisted spaces. But what made Terrence's story different was his refusal to play along, and the price he paid for it.
Business-wise for a long time.
Well, that's why it's only business. It was really, away from that, I explained why I didn't hang out with him, right? Because it's a little fluffy stuff going on.
It's not your scene.
It's not my style.
Not your scene.
They hug you from the front and the back at the same time. I got uncomfortable with him because the way he was asking to try and get me to hang out with him was like, yo, I'll take you shopping. And I'm like, what you mean? Like, that's something you say to a woman you're attracted to, maybe.
Right.
It's just weird, bro. And now you start to see a lot of the weird stuff that was there. It looks like it all lines up, don't it? It was not in the closet. It was in front of you and you wasn't seeing it because you see the beards. Or you see the girls. So you didn't look at them the way it actually is to a degree. And when I say people respond, how people respond to things matter, like the internet will take to it and just go off with it. Meek responds being the uncomfortability. He goes, yo, nah, I'll spend $100,000 to find out why my name is in this like this. And it's in it only because he's uncomfortable.
Meek Mill was hanging
close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, now Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not Photoshop.
Shit.
This is Stop it. You set that up. Look, obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. Guys may say to a girl, you know, like, let me take a shot. See?
But you got
They found it that quick.
What do you think is happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on there. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, man. I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the way. Certain things, they let it go by because it's Puff. He wasn't like in the closet. He was like in the hallway.
All these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They say you're a hater. They say you're crazy.
You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting.
What Terrence Howard is exposing isn't just his personal story. It's a blueprint, a twisted formula Hollywood has used for years to break down its stars. The pressure, the manipulation, the attempts to strip away everything that makes a person strong. It's all part of the game. Terrence Howard wasn't the first to face these challenges, and he won't be the last. He's not the first to call out Hollywood's corruption, and he certainly won't be the last. But what makes his story so powerful is the fact that he's standing tall in the face of it all. He's not backing down, and he's not letting Hollywood or Diddy control his narrative.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
this guy. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong. At the same time.
He got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce, right? And you go, prior to that, one.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys and shit. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them.
Terrence Howard's truth is one that many in Hollywood want to keep buried. The industry has long been a place where power is wielded without regard for integrity. But Terrence's decision to expose the truth has sparked a conversation that can no longer be ignored. As more and more actors, directors, and producers come forward with their own stories of manipulation and corruption, it's clear that the industry is due for a major change. But will Hollywood change? Or will it continue to push stars like Terrence to the sidelines? One thing is certain, Terrence Howard has opened the floodgates, and the world is watching. What happens next? Only time will tell. But if Terrence's story is any indication, Hollywood's grip on its stars is about to be shattered.
A King conspiracy?
Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. It rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one? And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
Bieber, who shot to global fame,